How's it going, everyone? My name is Fraser Robinson, and I am here to show you all things self-storage. In this video, you're gonna see why a little girl decided to swallow a key, how a tenant was forgetful, how a tenant screwed his door and welded his latch shut, and a sweet marketing and advertising tip that I came up with that you may be able to use in your own business or in self-storage yourself. The things that I'm gonna show you in this video go over different things that can happen on a daily basis that I do at my storage facilities. These type of videos, I'm gonna start calling them Storage Chronicles, and then it may have a little excerpt after that. Enjoy the show. Today, a tenant called me up and asked me if we can cut locks off of their units because their 4-year-old daughter swallowed the key. No worries, she said. The kid is okay and that we just have to wait for the key to come out, but we need you to cut off my lock. I've never had this happen before. This is probably the most unique reason I've had somebody needing me to cut off their lock. I drove down this aisleway and the first thing I noticed was that this door was swung wide open. I'm not going over there because as the tenant's things in there, I don't want to make sure it's private for them, but I called and talked to them and she said, oh, I must have left the door open. We'll just go ahead and close that right up. And we'll go ahead and put a coded lock on the unit for her. And I already gave the code to the tenant so that way she can open it when she comes back. And since I don't have a drop box on this facility yet, once the tenant takes off the code, they'll go ahead and give me a call or text and they'll just leave the lock on the ground by their unit, and then I'll come by and pick it up. Sometimes we've got to do a little cleanup, and tenants just leave stuff like this around the property. Not sure what it even is, just plywood and yeah, pretty much it. Move it from there to inside my truck. Sometimes tenants have issues with their code and they need me to test it out, so I come over to the facility and type in their code for them. Let's go ahead and see if this code works. There we go. Looks like it works. Now I'll just call up the tenant and tell them that their gate code is good to go. I just spoke to the lady again that had her 4-year-old daughter that swallowed the key. Well, I guess it turned out it was actually her niece. And what was happening was her niece and I guess some other kids were going through her purse and playing a game, hiding things. And the niece thought it would be a good idea to put the key in her mouth to hide it from everyone else. And then I guess ended up swallowing it. I have a tenant here who decided to take off the latch, weld on their own piece, and then also screw their door shut because they thought somebody was trying to break into their unit. I obviously took out all the screws because that's not okay, because they screwed the screws right in through here and into the door. I've tried multiple times to text and call and speak to the tenant about meeting at their unit so that way we can assess the damage that they did and that way we can get it fixed and we can figure out what the cost is for it. Every time I try to set something up, they pretty much ignore my question. Once they said a time would work out, or they'll tell me times will work out, but then they won't confirm with me. And so I had to send them a notice and let them know, which is basically a 48-hour notice, and let them know I'm gonna go in and enter their unit. Because they're not here, I'm gonna have to cut off their lock, open it up, and see what's going on. And then we'll assess it from there. All right, got the lock cut off. We're about to see inside this unit and see what's going on with the door and everything else. Because they welded the latch shut where I can't even pull this to move it and slide it open, I'm gonna have to grind that off as well. I've also got some other screws here. I don't know why. It took a bit for me to get it, but finally got it grinded down where now we can hopefully open it. There we go. All right. Whew, that's warm. Okay. So for privacy reasons, I can't show you what's inside the tenant's unit, but I did take a look to see what the damage was and assess that. Mostly it's just damage on the outside of the unit, a little bit in the door, but it's mostly hidden behind this. So we're gonna go ahead and replace the latch right here because we need a new one. That shouldn't be like that. So because the tenant wasn't here and I had to cut off their lock, and I went ahead and put one of my coded locks on here, you can see that, and I also replaced the latch. And so then I will give them the code and tell them that they need to put their own lock on it, and then they can put our coded lock in our drop box. So here's another thing that tenant leaves around property. This is like a leaf of a table in a plastic bag. I've got a marketing advertising sign I'm gonna hang up. Show you what it says. It says, we will beat other storage units by $10. And then I got my cool little logo down here in the corner. My thinking behind putting up a sign like this by saying I'll bet all other storage units by $10 is because I don't want to lower my prices at the street rate, the market rate, but I still want to get people in. And so if people find a better price in a similar size unit, say a 10 by 10, and I rent mine out for $129 and they find one for $100 or even $75, I'll put them in for $10 less, and then we'll do a rent increases eventually. But the goal is to get people in the door, and that's the biggest push for it, especially when you're lower on physical occupancy like I am at this this facility than I want to be. Special advertising deal is just applied for the units that I have a lot of, say a lot of 5x10s or whatever, but it won't go for my 10x20s that I'm completely full on. And if I have one available, then I'll still rent it out at the regular price and we won't do this special for it. And so it's selective for the units and everything, but they can call and they can figure that out. This is something new that I'm trying out, so I'm hoping it works. Wish me the best. I hope you enjoyed that video. I really enjoy putting these videos together and sharing with you guys. I hope you learned some different things that are entertaining. Please like this video so it can be suggested to other people. Comment if you want to see anything specific in the self-storage industry or just any of your thoughts and opinions that you have. And please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other content. And I'll see you next time.